Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is BRcrochet, and if you are new or returning subscriber, you are welcome. In today's tutorial, we're going to be learning how to make this skirt inspired by collage, and this is everything you need for this skirt. You need your balls of yarn of 2 different colors and a stitch marker, your tape measure. I used a 5.0 mm hook. You can use higher hook or lesser hook, but I'm using a 5.0 mm hook. Then a pair of scissors. So this is everything you'll be needing for this skirt. You'll be needing 2 stitch marker though, but I have only just 1. So please like, share and subscribe, and let's get right into class. The first measurement we are going to be considering for the skirt is the hip measurement, since it's the larger part of the body. So we are going to be starting from the hip, then back to the waist. So I'm going to start with the slip knot. So my hip measurement is 39 inches. So my hip measurement is 39 inches. So I'm going to make a chain of 39 inches. To begin with the slip knots, a chain of 39 inches. So now I have my long chain, and I'm going to take my measurements. So you should be having a long chain of 39 inches without stretching. Without stretching, just go on a straight line. So I have 39 inches without stretching. So now I'm going to skip 2 chain. I'm going to skip this first chain and this second chain, then work into the 3rd chain with a puff stitch. So you're making a puff stitch. So you yarn over, go into your chain, pull out, yarn over, go into your chain, pull up. You're going to pull through everything, then chain 1, yarn over. You're going to skip this part and walk into the next chain. Skip this, walk into the next chain, yarn over, yarn over. So now you have 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pull through the whole 5, chain 1, yarn over, skip this chain, walk into the next chain. To go in, pull up a loop, yarn over, go in, pull up a loop. So you have 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pull through all, chain 1. So this is it. So you're going to yarn over 2 times, skip this part, walk into the next, and repeat the same. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull up a loop, pull through all, chain 1, yarn over, go in, pull through all, chain 1, skip this part, walk into the next, pull through all, chain 1. Always make sure you chain 1 after your puff stitch. So into my last, I have 2 chain left, so into the last chain, because I'm going to skip this and work into this. So I'm going to go with my puff stitch. Don't forget you're going to yarn over 2 times, then pull through the whole 5 loop you're having. So I'm going to chain 1, and this is what I'm having. So now I'm going to join together. I have it on a straight line. It's on a straight line. It's not twisted. So please make sure yours is not twisted as well. Now I'm going to join the panels together. So into my stitch here, on the top stitch, I'm going to connect it, then chain 1. I'm using a 1-strand yarn, but I'm going to divide into 2. Then come into the top stitch here and also put through just 1 strand of it, then tie it together. So now I'm having this. I'm going to take my measurement again. So now I should be having less than 36 inches. Now I'm having 34 inches. But if fully stretched, then it can stretch to 40 inches. Now I'm going to switch my color and go in with my next yarn. Then I'm going to chain with my next color. Make a chain with my next color. Press it to be so firm. Then make a chain of 1. Press down. You're going to pull up your loop. Into this part here, you're going to yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull up a loop. So you have 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Put through the whole 5 and make a chain of 1. So now you're not going to make any chain of 2 or chain of 3. You're going to pull up your loop and yarn over 2 times. After you chain your 1, you're going to your next chain 1 space, which is in between these 2, and making your puff stitch again. 2 times you have 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Put through the whole 5, make a chain of 1. Go into this part also, making your puff, put through all, make a chain of 1. Always make sure you have your chain of 1 once you are done with your puff stitch. Yarn over, go in, pull up a loop, yarn over, go in, pull up a loop, put through all, make a chain of 1. Yarn over, go in, pull up a loop, yarn over, go in, pull up a loop. You have 5, put through all, make a chain of 1. So you have this. Yarn over, go in, pull up a loop, yarn over, go in, pull up a loop, pull through all, make a chain of 1. So you're going to repeat this to the end of this particular row. So you have this. So continue to the end of the row. Always make sure you have your chain 1 and you have it into this stitch, into your chain 1 space. I've gotten to the last stitch here, so I'm going to make my slip stitch into the puff area here, not into my chain 1 but into this part. So I'm going to make a slip stitch, then pick up my leftover yarn, twist. I'm going to have my used yarn at the back and this in front, then make a chain and press down, pull up, You're not going to turn your work, you're not turning. So pull up into this stitch here. You're going to have your pop stitch. Pull up a loop, you have 3. Go in, pull up a loop. Then you have 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pull through the whole 5 and chain 1. So you're going to continue like that for a total of 8 inches. So you're going to continue your puff stitch for a total of 8 inches. So you're going to keep switching colors. So right now I'm having 8 inches, and this is what it's looking like. This is what I'm having. And this is the side by side joining parts, which is not obvious. I'm going to take measurements. So 8 inches here. Now I'm going to start the decrease, and I'll be needing a stitch marker. So here is the stitch marker. I'll be needing 2 stitch marker, but I do not have 2 stitch markers, so I'm just going to work with this one I'm having. So if you have 2 stitch marker, then you can just use 2 stitch marker. So for here, this is my joining point, so I'm going to put in my stitch marker here. Then divide this into 2. So this is the other part here. So I'm going to have it here. So now let's count. From this part, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, then 29 here, or 28, then this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. So here, so this is going to stand as a stitch marker for me, and this here as a stitch marker for me. So I have divided my skirt into 2. So it's going to be like this. So make sure you have your stitch marker on both middle points. I'm going to start decreasing. So now I'm going to start decreasing, which means I'm going to switch my yarn. I'm going to work my stitch here. So instead of working here, I'm going to skip here and work into this part. Skip here, work into this with your puff stitch. So now you've skipped this, then continue with your puff stitch without skipping anyone. So now you continue to go with your puff stitch into every stitch without skipping at all. I've reached my second stitch marker point here. So I'm going to, after you chain your one, you're going to skip this part. Skip this part and work into the next with your puff stitch. Chain one. So it's going to be like this. So you're going to skip this and work into this. Then continue with your puff stitch. So you are back to the second stitch marker point. So you're only going to be decreasing in two ways. I'm back to my journey point. I'm just going to make my slip stitch. Then change color. You're not going to have anything here. So you're just going to have your puff stitch behind. You're not having anything here. You're skipping this part to the end of this, to the end till you get your waist measurement. So you're going to work behind. Have your puff stitch behind. Chain one. Skip this part. Work into this part with your puff stitch. So it's like this. So continue to have your puff stitch into every stitch until you get to your next decrease point. So I'm working on the 26 inches waist. So I'm going to keep decreasing until I have 26 inches. So I've reached the second side of this decrease point, which is here. You can always add in your stitch marker for indication. So to indicate, you can always have your stitch marker there at that point. So now I'm going to skip this. I'm not working anything here. I'm going to skip this and work into the next with my puff stitch. And now continue my puff stitch into every other stitches until I'm back to the second part. So I'm going to repeat this row until I have my waist measurement. So whatever waist measurements you are working on, you can keep decreasing until you get that waist measurement. Then by that you can get our skirt length. I'm back to my journey point again. I'm going to make my slip stitch. Then switch color. Make a chain of 1. Then pull. Like I said, you're not putting anything here. You're going to go into the back stitch, pull up, have your puff stitch, make a chain of 1. You are skipping this part to walk into the next part with your puff stitch, then continue. So now it has started decreasing. So you're going to keep decreasing like this till you have your waist measurement. My waist, I'm working on a 26 waist measurement, but originally the waist measurement is 28 inches, but I'm going to decrease to 26 to 25 inches. So yeah, right now it's 32 inches, slightly 32 inches. So now I'm going to keep decreasing until I have 13 inches, which is going to be 26 to 12.5 inches, which is going to be 25. So between 25 and 26 inches is what I'm going to be stopping my waist measurements at. So this is what I'm having, and I'm having my correct waist measurement. Which is 25.5, which is 25 inches here, and it can stretch to exactly 26 inches. So if you are okay with this length, you should be having 11 inches. So I'm having 11 inches here. But if you want your skirt longer, you just have to increase your number of rows here. Instead of your 8 inches before you start decreasing, you can just make it 10 to 11 inches before your decrease. So yeah, we start decreasing from here to the waist point. So now I'm going to make 1 single crochet into every stitches. I'm not switching color because I'm out of yarn. So I'm going to make 1 single crochet into all stitch, both your chain 1 stitch and your puff stitch. 1 single crochet into your chain 1, 1 single crochet into the puff stitch, 1 single crochet into the chain 1, 1 single crochet into your puff stitch, 1 single crochet. So you make 1 single crochet into every stitch. So I'm back to my last stitch. I'm going to make my single crochet, then slip stitch into this part, chain 2 and cut off. So I'm going to divide my yarn. Since I'm using a 1-strand yarn, I'm going to divide into 2. So for this, I'm not going to cut, but I'm going to tie. So I'm just going to go into this stitch, divide my yarn into 2, pull out, then tie. Because if you cut without tying, it's just going to rip everything off. So cut. And yeah, this is what the skirt is looking like. So this is the waist and this is the hip down to the skirt length. So now we're going to take our measurements. So for my hip, I'm having 25 inches, which is 12.5 inches, but can stretch to 28 inches. For the hip, I'm having 34 inches without stretching, but if stretched, can stretch to 40 inches. And for the skirt length, I'm having 11 inches. If you want your skirt longer, then you have to, I made 8 inches here. But if you want your skirt longer, then you have to increase your 8 inches to probably 10 to 11 inches before you start decreasing to your waist point. This is what I'm having as my skirts, and this is the inner part. This is the journey part on the inside. This is the inner part. And this is the outer part. And this is our decrease point. So if you don't want this part here, you can just add one more row to it, but I'm leaving mine like this. But if you don't want it like this, you can just add one more row to it. And yeah, this is what the skirt is looking like. You don't need to add your drawstring here because it's exactly your waist measurement. But if you want to add your drawstring, then you can add your drawstring here, but I'm not sure it's needed. And yeah, this is what the skirt is looking like. Thank you for watching till the end. Please like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next class. Bye.